Dire team ban.
One coming.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban.
Alright, mic testing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hello everyone, and welcome to the Epicenter Major 2019 Southeast Asian Close Qualifiers. Once again, my name is Wonderdrift, serving as your caster. Today's matchup is going to be Boom ID versus Geek Fam. Okay, for those of you wondering what are the storylines of both teams, Boom ID, kind of like their other Indonesian counterparts, Evos Esports, are desperate to go all the way to the Premier Leagues, but so far they're only limited to just minors, majors, and just the qualifiers. And hopefully this could be a breakthrough, but it's not going to be easy because they're up against Geek Fam with the veterans like Mushi and Raven. It's really going to be a difficult situation because one thing's for certain, Mushi and Raven are indeed internationally blessed with experience. Obviously, Mushi being one of the gods of Southeast Asia, no doubt, and Raven being one of the most impactful players in Southeast Asia as well, especially with how he performed with his previous team, none other than TNC. Not low-tech, but TNC. Mushi, on the other hand, actually, if you look at his resume with Fnatic and Mineski, he's got a lot of accolades. So it's going to be a huge mountain for Boom ID if they could actually overcome the experience and the tactical awareness that Geek Fam are known for. Because if you look at the open qualifiers of Geek Fam, if you look at the finals against Orca, Geek Fam just simply outclassed them in terms of strategic knowledge of the game. So Boom ID, you gotta watch out for this. So they already banned the significant factor to why Geek Fam defeated Orca in the finals of the open qualifiers in Southeast Asia, which is Enigma. So they removed one equation out, but they still got some other problems to consider, because this is Geek Fam, boys and girls. You don't know what they're gonna offer. Alright, there you go. Earth Spirit Darkseer. Yep, Geek Fam loves to play these epic wombo combos. We've seen that with Nagasiren Enigma in the open qualifiers. Now we're seeing a different approach. Earth Spirit and Darkseer. Vacuum onto Magnetize. Well, good luck if you're Boom ID. I mean, you go for Earthshaker early on, and that could be like a potential counter initiation assault, just to clear. I mean, here's the thing. You have a wall of replica, the illusions are out, Earthshaker's got an Echo Slam, just gonna make sure that the wall illusions could actually be depleted. But obviously, if the Shaker gets caught by that wall as well, his replica is gonna kill him, because the physical damage is obviously outrageous. Okay, they go for Morphling and Earthshaker. So this Morphling pick could be too early, and it could be detrimental. And we've seen Mineski against Power of MYSGAU during the close qualifiers, the first close qualifiers game, how much the Morphling pick was completely negated by any burst magical damage. So you might expect Geek Fam to do the same, rely on one single physical damage dealing type and then combine it with a plethora or 4 members who could deal a barrage of magical damage. So you want to avoid that if you're Boom ID. I mean, you're trying to go for the right bans, of course, Outrill Devourer is one. Sand King is the potential threat, and hopefully it could work. And now Geek Fam, yeah, just like in the open qualifiers, they normally ban the meta heroes. See, these are 4 popular heroes in the meta. There's Nyx, there's Drow, there's Doom, and then there's Batrider. So they're all out of the equation. And yeah, they've done their homework, their research, Geek Fam. And let's see if the homework could actually lead to the best results in the world. Alright, no anti-mage for Boom ID. It's a smart ban. Morphling might be negated with this anti-mage. Seriously, the mana amounts are just going to be consumed by this Geek Fam if they go for the anti-mage build. Now we go for the next ban. Alright. So the other casual heroes that we see a lot, like Abaddon, which I wouldn't be surprised if Geek Fam bans, because if you look at their first 4 bans, those are very popular picks in this meta. So if they go for Abaddon, wouldn't be strange. After all, they might go for an individual pick-off approach, given that the fact that you have an Earthshaker, although the set can be the same with Geek Fam with Earth Spirit being deployed. I mean, we still don't know what their next picks are, but we all know that Geek Fam has a wombo combo set. And maybe Boom ID might answer back with, let's say, Silencer, although it's no longer a meta pick. So Tidehunter is out. And Fam go for the Ancient Apparition. Okay, so Morphling is going to be having a rough ride here with the AA being deployed on the battlefield. AA naturally counters Morphling. And this fish will certainly be turned to salmon if Boom ID has no answer to this AA. So we've seen Virtus Pro versus Mineski in Disneyland, where VP has the AA just to make sure that Mineski's Morphling gets reduced to shreds. And so far, this could be the same approach by Geek Fam. Like, they plan to put AA at mid, if that's possible, like what Virtus Pro did against Mineski in Disneyland. Like, put AA at mid, just to like get his levels up so that Morphling may not be effective. So that could be Geek Fam's strategy as Ven gets deployed. Okay. Alright. So I don't know if Ven's gonna be like 3 or 1 or 4, because Ven is like one of the most fluid heroes, although not as fluid as Mirana, because Mirana is like can play multiple positions. Like a 6'7" power forward that can play point guard and small forward and center. That's basically Sven. So this could be Sven at 1, although Sven at 1 is not really very popular nowadays. Sven at 3 used to be the trend, like in the previous majors prior to Disneyland. There was a time when Sven at 4 was likewise very popular as well. So I'm not sure if Geek Fam will deploy Sven at the 3 or Sven at the 1. This is Raven's signature hero. Okay, for those of you watching. I've seen Raven's Sven in TNC, and it was just really strong, no doubt. Like, I think it was against Fnatic. Yeah, it was against Fnatic. You know, when Sven unleashed all hell with his Sven. So, this could be the approach by Geek Fam, but Boom ID have some countermeasures as well with Razor, just like minimizing any physical damage that this Sven could potentially deploy, which is a very smart pick by Boom ID. Alright, no Kunkka for Geek Fam. And it's a smart pick, just because it could make any initiation attempt by Geek Fam look demoralized. Okay, and Sven normally relies on Warcry a lot, and Earth Spirit likewise relies on mobility. So X marks the spot is actually a very good counter to most of them. Put him out of the equation, you're good to go if you're Geek Fam. Boom ID on the other hand. Next pick. Alright. Morphling, Razor. One would go mid, one would go core. So their next option would be an off lane. So there's no Tidehunter. Kunkka off lane is still very a possible option. No Queen of Pain available. So let's see. Boom ID. I don't think Centaur is going to be deployed here. I mean, it could work. We've seen MYSG revive the Centaur War Runner. Darkseer has already been chosen by Geek Fam. Like, we don't know what this Ancient Apparition is going to be. Like, 5 or 2. Right? That's something Boom ID has to consider. Alright, so we're seeing the final pick by Boom ID. Thinking of a potential... Magnus is like... If you look at it based on the book, you could say Magnus could be the guy. Because RP onto Echo, yes, that could happen. So the other offlaners, Enigma and Doom, are out of the equation. So this is a tricky spot for Boom ID. They really have to go out of the meta, or out of their heads, if they want to make sure that their offlane selection is really going to be good. Unless if they want to put Earthshaker as offlane, which they could. But the final chess piece, okay, here's how it goes. They got a minute of reserve time, they got to really think of it. Okay, so they got one guy who could disable a fight, which is Shadow Demon. They'll just instantly negate one target, put him out. Darkseer would be the best option for Shadow Demon to do that. Because as long as Darkseer lasts long in a team fight, then he could just be like iron shelling everyone, and that would be a major pain for you to experience. So Boom ID, all right, 30 seconds. They're really thinking about it. All right, Brewmaster, a safe bet. Okay, fine. They do need that team play option. After all, it could actually bode well with Morphling and Shaker if they could time it well. That's the thing. So you're gonna really rely a lot on Razor and Morph, you know, to do some damage. I mean, Razor early on will be like Sven's worst nightmare. That's for certain. And Boom ID, as long as you potentially slow down Raven Sven, you're good to go, okay? Now, Morphling... Wow, Morphling could actually copy Sven. That's a thing. So, Geek Fam has to protect their Ancient Apparition at all costs. That has to be the game plan. Protect the AA, you're good to go. Because if AA is not in a good spot, he is going to be susceptible to any form of like aggression for Boom ID. Remember, Brewmaster could actually potentially chase AA. Because he could play Primal Split and hunt down this Apparition. And the Apparition becomes a memory forgotten. So you don't want to experience that if you're Boom ID. Alright? You want to be like, okay, let's just try and play this cautiously, because AA is going to kill us at some points. Sven has the Warcry. Armor is just going to be so high. God Strength is like a prayer in our soul. So, indeed, Boom ID. Alright, you did the right move with the Brew, and let's see if it's going to pay dividends. Now, Geek Fam, they know what's missing is a mid lane. Like, AA can go mid, but they could actually go for another better option. There's no Queen of Pain. There's no Kunkka. So, chances are the Ember type people like Ember Spirit, although Ember is likely susceptible to Brew and Shaker. Even Shadow Demon could actually come out for Geek Fam. And to really think about it, because it's very difficult. Lina, yeah, the burst damage could be beneficial, especially against Morphling. And I was wondering, yeah, maybe Lina could be the option for Geek Fam. And they got 10 seconds to decide. Like, Lina is one option that I could think of. Here we go. Yep, there you go. Lina. Final pick is Lina by Geek Fam. I mean, as long as you deliver a Laguna Blade and Light Strike away, you're good to go. Now, of course, Lina, if he's matched up with Razor, he doesn't really need a lot of physical damage, because Lina relies a lot on burst magical damage. So, Static Link may not be that effective onto Lina. And besides, Razor's right-click damage early on is very weak. Okay, he relies a lot on Static Link to be so powerful. So, Lina could actually be a good pick, especially if matched up against Razor. Against Morphling on mid, Pervian could actually, it could go 50-50, because Morphling early on susceptible to Lina's crowd control. But Morphling, if he timed his like agility spans well, then maybe he could get the upper hand onto Lina. But chances are it's going to be like 60-40 in favor of Lina, depending on whoever he's going up against. Whether it's Morphling or Razor, it's always going to be like 60-40 in favor of Lina, indeed. Alright. Well, I've already talked a lot, and based on what I've said, maybe you might say that I'm inclined for going for Geek Fam, which I think I am, because Apparition, good against Morph, and then Lina, whatever you pull against her, she'll be good. The only concern for Lina is how she would survive from the Shaker's Fissure, alright? That's one concern. You gotta, because one thing's for sure, on the early game, Lina has no mobility. That's their number one weakness. Her burst damage is there. So, yeah, those are some points to consider, and for those of you watching by, you can deliver out or dish out your opinions on whoever's gonna win. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we do some introductions, but before that... Alright, so here we go. Boom ID, representing the Radiant with FBZ as Brew, Joe Cam as Shaker, Kodo as your mid lane Razor. Bottom lane is going to be Kezcute as Shadow Demon and Fervian as Morphling. And on the side of Dire, they're being played by Geek Fam with Mushi as Lina, Play Hard as Ancient Apparition, Zephyr as Earth Spirit, Scamberloo as your Darkseer, and Raven is going to be on the way to the top lane as Sven. So it's going to be a solo Sven. Solo Sven. It's a tricky spot for him. I mean, Sven's got Warcry, fine. But this is Raven playing Sven. Maybe it could work.
30 seconds to battle!
Alright, here we have a stalemate happening. Alright, here we go. Bounties are all set coming from both sides. And let's see if it's going to be like a 50-50 approach. Rolling Bowler though as Boom ID. Right, they got 2 and Gamberloo gets 1. So Geek Fam as Zephyr just draws first blood here on the bot lane. So yeah, a pretty rough start there on the side of Boom ID. They did, although they get, you know, 2 bounties, but first blood in favor of Zephyr. So that's a good combination with Scamberloo. I mean, Iron Shell onto the Rolling Boulder is actually a difference maker, no doubt. Yeah, this is a mid lane matchup we're talking about. Mushi against Mikoto. And so far, yep, see, Mushi is not phased with what Mikoto's doing. Could just, you know, Dragon Slave everything for fun. The other hand, top lane. Alright, so right now Raven's got backup with Play Hard. Alright, this could be here. This Raven is just constantly going to farm up his CS. And let's see, Sven is actually a very fast-paced hero to farm as a carry, because one thing's for certain about Raven, Sven, is like he's got great cleave. So he's got like one of the an early Battle Fury in this game, and the early Battle Fury, as he gets a last hit onto that range creep. I mean, of course, the early Battle Fury, courtesy of his like passive ability, is actually making sure that his farm rate is going to increase any point of the game, as Play Hard is just so low in HP. Meanwhile though, we go back here in the mid lane as Mushi is just going, yep, Dragon Slave onto Mikoto, getting caught there by the static link. Although the right clicks of Mikoto are looking very fatal for now. Of course, with the stolen damage, indeed, it's actually very obnoxious for Mushi, and we're going to see the same strategy of this Darkseer, just trying to cut the creep waves, not giving any space for a Geek Fam to go on the push. And so far, the stats are doing pretty much damage here. So here's the thing, the reason why this Darkseer is not making any impact is because Shadow Demon's a very good pressure hero, because of course you could just stack up his abilities, forcing the Darkseer to run away, which is what's happening. 8 stacks of poison. This is just painful. This is totally painful indeed. Top lane though, FBZ is frozen to his feet, and now he's gonna get caught, unless if Raven's got a stun, and Scamberloo with the poison damage gets killed. Now Zephyr trying to go for the party, trying to help his teammate though is Kezcute. Just one more hit onto Kezcute. The poison damage is just gonna kill him off. Alright, now here we go. Back to the mid lane matchup, Mushi versus Mikoto. So far, Static Link is actually trying to stall him down, but this is what I'm talking about during the draft phase, especially when you have an Earthshaker blocking things. And Mushi, well, he may not enjoy this sort of situation, trying to light strike away, but the light strikes do not even go for the target. Again, now Mikoto gets slowed down. Rolling Boulder by Zephyr says, well, Mikoto, if you have any form of aggression that you like to show off, we're going to show it better than yours, and you're going to pay for it. And so far, Geek Fam are currently enjoying their stay, as a pause has been set. So we look at some other shenanigans to consider in this match. So Raven going 1v1 with Brewmaster. This could actually go 50-50, but Brew has Drunken Brawler, dodge abilities. Raven's got Warcry. But remember, farm rate of Raven, courtesy of Great Cleave, is going to be something that could be detrimental on the side of Sven.
Absolutely perfect.
Now, so far, Zephyr has been doing a pretty good job around the map. And of course, as long as Zephyr constantly just moves around the map and just wreaks havoc onto the opposition, then things are actually very good for the side of Zephyr indeed. Okay, then we look at some other factors to consider as well. See, so this Darkseer couldn't make any impact, like cutting the waves. That's what she's normally known for. Alright, so Mikoto has actually reconnected back in the game, and I guess we could proceed to the next round of this matchup.
Yeah, it's about time.
Alright, so far, we look at the pressure here. Mushi just assaulting things onto the mid lane. Now FBZ, of course, when you're surrounded with two heroes and Great Cleave as well, you might be forced to back off in a bit. Yeah, you know, that's what Great Cleave is known for, and this Ven is just so... It's just very lethal indeed, no doubt. It's just really demoralizing the opposition so far. Yeah, a bit problematic here on the side of like Boom ID in the top lane. Now, Sven is not a hero you like to give farm needed, because Sven, well, God Strength is just going to give him damage all out. But if he gets like Blink Dagger and like BKBs and a Daedalus instantly, well, you might as well say goodbye to your soul. I mean, you're going to rely a lot on Mikoto. Just make sure that Mikoto outfarms the Raven and you're good as Mushi gets caught in the mid lane. Because Mikoto's like your only saving grace against like Raven so far in this game, other than the crowd control that you possess. And sure, Sven may be weak to like magic damage, but with the God Strength HP increase, then things might really go difficult at your end as the Fisher is set, but the Stormhammer stops down FBZ, and he's gonna get frozen to his feet again and again, but Play Hard is going to sacrifice his life war cries. And so far, things are actually looking pretty decent. Alright though, so Raven, oh there, he gets caught there. He's got the mango just in case he needs to run away, and the Sven just slows things down. But Joe Cam, on the other hand, he's gonna get frozen to chill. Unless if he's actually pretty going to survive, but so far he is going to survive. Now Scamberloo on the other hand. I thought there was any form of aggression there on the top section of the map. But Ferbian left all by himself, farming in the bot lane. So that's going to give him some momentum swings. And yeah, he's going to get Morbid Mass instantly, which he does need, of course, to regenerate his HP that fast and produce some havoc through his right clicks. Especially if you could like boost its agility points. That would be like your sustainable option. Alright, here's the Smoke of Deceit though. And look at the Smoke of Deceit though. Look at this, Kez cute. Oh, Mushi gets banished there. Oh boy, he's gonna get caught there by the Static Clink. However, the Earthshaker just stomps things down, and the counterattack as Kezcute gets killed, trying to go for the Disruptant play, but the Fissure says, well, the aggression may not be available because the Fissure was just off-hand indeed. Now we go to the top lane as Raven. 42-7. Okay, he's doing a pretty good job farming. Ferbian as well doing the same, but the difference is Ferbian was just left all by himself, whereas Raven has got pressure. But speaking of pressure, here comes pressure to Joe Cam. Rolling Boulder. Oh my god, what a nice disruption play to make sure that Joe Cam lives. But apparently, it wasn't really that enough. The God Strength was just there as the finishing touches. So this could snowball well for Raven, especially with that momentum play on the side of, you know, Geek Fam. You know, that Rolling Boulder onto death. That's beauty to watch. Oh, that disruption play was like, whoa, that is wicked indeed. That is totally wicked. Alright, so FBZ. Okay, so Blink Dagger normally is like the first item for Brewmaster. But in this case, it wouldn't happen. I guess he's going to look for some other alternatives, like Survival could be like one of his instincts. Maybe he could go for Vladimir's as his first option. Because just to make sure that the Great Cleave is totally negated, might as well go for Vladimir's Offering. to make sure that you can still hold your ground even amidst the Great Cleave damage. And so far, Sven's Great Cleave is at level 2. And he's going to rely a lot on his Stormhammer in this game. Like, of course, it's going to cost a lot of mana, which is something that Boom ID could utilize. Like, as you can see here, though, Zephyr, oh, there you go, pushing someone back, though, but he's going to get slowed down as Joe Cam. Oh, there's another Totem. Oh, nice Yule Scepter indeed to protect himself, though, as you can see. Oh, wait, not a Yule Scepter indeed, but actually, it's one of the bears doing a lot of havoc just to make sure that Zephyr gets pulled to up in the air, and then he won't have any option to TP out. Now mid lane, though, and alright, so here's the thing. Mushi is not having a good time on mid, but this is typical Mushi. Mushi is more of a space-creating mid laner. He's not a domineering mid laner like Armel. He's kind of like Moon for Mineski. He's not really meant to like get kills. He's more to, okay, never mind Mushi. He's gonna get caught there by the Fisher. Light Strike away dodges. Totem lands on the target onto Mushi. Laguna Blade. Can Mushi salvage something? But the salvation does not happen. Instead, Mushi goes down. And Geek Fam going for rotations onto the mid lane as a response. But so far, it's not looking pretty good there at their favor. So far, I mean, if you look at it, Lena's not really expected to like outclass opponents in terms of like last hits and denies. She's just there to like get levels, get the kills, courtesy of Laguna Blade and Light Strike aways. And so far, if you're Boom ID, that should not be your priority. Your priority should be Raven, because so far he's going to be like the primary option. As you can see, Raven is going to get slowed down. Oh dear, he tried to run away. Can he juke it out from the Forest of Death, or maybe the Forest of Salvation, unless it's Scamberlu? Oh, look at the Iron Shell doing damage, though. Raven is like, yeah, good job, Scam. Nice Iron Shell right there. And Raven was like, oh yes, I just guess you gave me the assist. Look at this, Zephyr. If he goes for, they spot someone. Oh, that's, of course, the 7.20 patch has just happened, and Zephyr, he could not stun someone with that. You know, that was a really good rotation by Geek Fam, because you have to prioritize protecting Raven in this game. Because much as Raven relies a lot on God Strength, he also needs his items instantly. So just so you get, oh dear, look at that disruption. Okay, so Zephyr's not going to have any options for escape, and he's going to suffocate, but in return, this could be the doom of Mikoto, who's frozen on his feet. Alright, so this could be like space needed for Mushi, because Mushi has been on a constant struggle on this mid lane assault against this Razor. And so far, Razor has just been dominating in front of like the Lina in terms of last hits and denies. And even in terms of net worth. So as much as Lina may not be like the hero that desperately needs farm, of course, because he desperately needs more levels, but this might be a nightmare because you're giving a lot of Mikoto so much space, as you can see here, though. You're giving Mikoto so much space that, because Razor is like a second carry for Boom ID. So if your one quick carry, Fervian, is about to go bonkers at some point, and your other core, which is Mikoto, goes online at some point, late in the game, there's been a lot of trouble. Ice Blast sets out, and the Primal Split is cancelled. Ice Blast says, well, not on my watch. You're not going to split into 3 koalas. Instead, you're going down. This is a nice stack indeed. However, look at it. Scamberlu trying to defend, but Fervian manages to get a kill. And he's going to get a link into that ASAP. And so far, things are looking pretty good in favor of Boom ID. I mean, it was looking not like it's at their favor, but you know what? Because of what Scamberlu is doing, trying to cut the waves, but Scamberlu cutting through the waves got negated with this Shadow Demon, so Kesku did the right option. He saw this happening, so he's like, what if I just keep constantly stacking these poison damages? And it worked wonders. I mean, the early game could have gone in favor of Geek Fam if they don't solve those problems. And they're even pushing Raven away from the top lane, which is pretty good. So, if you're Boom ID, you're in a good spot for now. And just make sure that you don't choke or you don't do something awful. As you can see, Raven There, manages to get a kill onto Joe Cam. Of course, Mikoto has no stun, so that will force Raven to like run away. And he's got an Echo Saber. Okay, that's going to be the momentum play. That's going to slow things down and give Raven some additional mana regen as Play Hard gets killed. And this Razor, just look at the level gap between Mushi and Mikoto. It's just phenomenal. This is so awful for Mushi at this point. Like, if your Lina is outpaced by this Razor, and if your Razor just constantly, you know, racks up like this, you're in a lot of trouble. Especially if Razor could get BKB instant, then Lina is like cut out of the equation. Yule Scepter is one good item for Razor for additional survivability. Maybe he might go for Linken's or BKB, depending on the situation of this game. Now Sven going for Sanjin Yash as the next item choice. He does need that, because he needs the status resistance against this Razor. And yeah, basically against the Razor. And possibly against the Morphling, depending on what hero he's going to steal the abilities. Then you're in a really, really good spot. Alright, you're in a really good spot if you're Boom ID. And if you're Geek Fam. Sorry, I mean Geek Fam, because of course status resistance is very important, as you can see. Fervian. Oh boy, Fervian says, oh dear, waves away and dodges the Ice Blast. He's aware of that. I mean, he knows Morphling is going to be like a weak point for this Ancient Apparition. And he's just forced to like move around the map, which is a very smart thing to do. Try to farm up his Linken's, however, they might spot onto Joe Cam, and yes, they go onto Joe Cam. Oh dear, it misses though, the Boulder Smash does miss. Now the Magnetize onto Joe Cam, but to no avail. My god, this is the first time I've seen Geek Fam looking very disintegrated. Speaking of that, Sepper's going to be the one who's going to be disintegrated. And that's going to force a TP away on the Ancient Apparition, unless if Skemberlu. Oh no! Oh dear, he went flying into the air. Koala Bear says you're not gonna go down. Instead, you are gonna go to oblivion, blasted away. There he goes. He gets slaughtered, Fervian with the finishing blow. And so far, these kills have put Fervian top in the net worth charts. And Raven is now third, so things are looking pretty rough, and the win probability 80% in favor of Boom ID. So Raven has to do something here, or Geek Fam has to do something to give Raven all the farm, because if Raven is just constantly shut down like this, maybe things might not go well at their favor. Rolling Boulder, Storm Hammer. Oh my god, Fervent with a clutch Lincoln Sphere. However, it might not be enough, and the Ice Blast. It was their attack on Mikoto, but he's gonna live through it, no doubt. That was a great disruption by Kesku to make sure that Mikoto could survive, could prolong his life. And that was a very good play by Fervian. Actually, no, there's actually not. Instead, oh there though, FBZ, however, gets caught there. There's the patient to block down the FBZ though. And he's gonna get frozen down unless the Warcry chase is gonna lead to something in return.
Regeneration.
Alright, so Geek Fam just forced to back away a bit. I mean, they have to play safe now. They tried to go aggressive early on and they failed miserably. The mid lane matchup is like pretty one-sided in favor of Boom ID. But Raven has to rush his like Sanjin Yash immediately, and this will look only well if Raven can outpace anyone in Boom ID, but so far he's only remained in the levels of Boom ID. He has not yet outpaced almost every member. He has to do that if Geek Fam will be like, yeah, this is our chance to shine. I mean, he's currently stuck at 8.3k in terms of net worth. But of course, remember, it's not going to be easy for Raven in this game, because one thing's for certain, Mikoto's there to make sure that your damage outburst is just going to be reduced to ash. There's the rolling boulder onto FBZ. He gets all the disruption play again. My god, Kesku. How many times have you done that? They tried to go for the magnetize to slow things down, Geek Fam, but the slowdown is not really that sufficient because so far Play Hard is getting caught, shredded apart. forcing the retreat. That's a great Ice Blast dodge. A great Ice Blast dodge as Skemberlu tries to surge away. And I don't think he's going to live through it. Is he? No, he's not. He's not going to live. There goes Slam onto 2. Once to Mushi, once to Raven. But the Laguna Blade kills onto Joe Cam. But still in return, Mushi goes down as the tier 1 tower has been taken by Boom ID. Oh, they're on a constant tear and Raven has no space in this game. Can he be the savior of Geek Fam in this game? Wait, the disruption has been set up. Oh, this is not... Okay. I thought someone got caught instead. It was just Ferbian trying to get some illusion armies. Like a Terrorblade. A mini Terrorblade. Well, the Ice Blast... And Ferbian dodged it! Did he? Oh, here... Okay, no, he's not. But... that was it doesn't matter. Even though he didn't dodge it, as long as he kept himself alive, he's good to go. Great play there by Boom ID. This guy's in. Kescute is the man in this game, no doubt. He's the man of the hour. We cannot deny his impact in this game was so important. You know, he imprisoned his own teammates to make sure they don't get caught by that Ice Blast combo. That's very lethal. So if you're Geek Fam, you gotta adjust to this Kescute style of gameplay. Like, this guy is a legit pro AA player. I can see it with how he's playing Shadow Demon. He's like, oh, really? You think you're gonna Ice Blast your way? Yeah, I doubt it, you know? And it's actually well done indeed by Boom ID. Just making sure that the countermeasures on this Morphling do not seem to affect at all. Sure, Ice Blast is gonna reduce your regeneration antics, but with this Kescute guy, he's making a name for himself. And I wouldn't be surprised if Geek Fam just tips in. Okay, there you go. Mushi struggling here against Mikoto. There's the Dragon Slave, and my god, Mushi is just completely... He needs a timeout. Yeah, coach, give him a timeout, because he needs a break. I mean, he's been constantly bombarded by Mikoto. I was expecting Mushi could stand toe-to-toe with Mikoto, but so far, it doesn't really seem like the case, because Lina against Razor, like, magic damage is something that Lina could be the decisive factor against Razor early in the game. Dragon Slave has got the biggest range in Dota. Alright, that's one factor to consider. But so far, it looks like Mikoto's aggression early on is paying dividends. And now the two carries... Okay, one is a pseudo carry, which is Mikoto. But the two carries indeed by Boom ID are farming exponentially high, as if like Geek Fam are just left speechless in this game. Like, sure, they may have this John Cena mentality where never giving up is the option for Geek Fam. But so far, it looks like it might go for an early GG. Well, maybe less than 30 minutes, especially with how farmed up this Razor is, and with how farmed up this Morphling is, as he now has the Lincoln, and he's gonna go for... Whoa, dear. If he gets these two, if he gets it like ASAP, if you compare him to Raven, I'm sure Sanjin Yash is going to be the difference maker. So maybe the BKB is going to be like the beneficiary for this, like, for Raven so far. If he gets BKB, magic damage is going to be reduced. But, of course, all that thought, however, look at that Skemberlu. Okay, trying to go for the surge runaway. I don't think he's going to survive through this. Well, good. Skemberlu, there's nowhere else for him to go. Down to Oblivion. Say your own prayer if you have to. But as long as Geek Fans keep him Raven alive, then you're good to go, alright? So Skemberlu is a sacrificial lamb for a Raven. And, okay, that's fine. He does need to get his BKB and possibly Daedalus. Blink Dagger may not be the option as... Okay, look at this. Okay, Mikoto did not see Raven. Or maybe he's aware that Raven is there. Sentry Ward, okay, I mean, Observer Ward has revealed Raven's position. And Joe Cam. Okay, he's got backup though with Mushi and Play Hard. Joe Cam playing safe indeed. Alright, where's the MVP? There's the MVP. I'm gonna put the spotlight onto him because he was so clutch in every team fight for Boom ID. And Raven's just forced a retreat bot, FBZ, who is also very important piece with the primal splits on point. So far, Geek Fam, they were able to shut down Raven's signature hero, and they're just forced to retreat. And they have to find a way to make a breakthrough. So, Alright, here's what Geek Fam needs to do. They gotta, if they want a chance to survive or win this game. So they're constantly going for a Dead by Daylight approach, where they have to move around to avoid the killers. It's a smart plan. But, okay, Mushi's gonna be the sacrifice to that, and Sepher as well. Magnetizes there, but there's no way Sepher's gonna live through that.
Double kill.
And that's 2 dead on Geek Fam. No Mushi, no Sepher. So Raven, well, all eyes on you now. I mean, he's trying to do his job, which is a split push. And this 10k gold lead by Boom ID. Wow, 93% in favor of Boom ID. 10k gold lead, 93% in terms of Dota Plus probability. Wow, it's really a shutdown to the Geek Fam indeed. So, Raven currently 3rd in net worth. Hopefully, I don't think he's ready to go on a team fight yet. Alright, so this is a difficult situation. Like, Boom ID, they want to go for the high ground push. And they're susceptible to any burst magic damage that this lineup by Geek Fam could impose, and possibly Raven's physical damage. And I guess they're going to set their sights onto Roshan. They have to get Roshan so they could go for the tier 3 push. And here's the thing. If Geek Fam loses their tier 3 towers, Raven is just completely shut out in this game. Like, no chance at all is Raven going to recover. Or if there is like 10% chance, 10%, do the math, it's still pretty low. Because, well, Rat Gaming is one strategy. After all, Great Cleveland Echo Saber's a great rat strategy, which is what's happening. But, of course, you gotta remember, Boom ID is a very smart team. Alright? They know when to rotate. They know when to engage. You've seen that just going for these pickoffs onto Geek Fam. And Geek Fam, they're just left to scratch their own heads. I mean, sure, Darkseer has the Pipe of Insight, which is also very good against Earthshaker, as this Roach Pit is going to get under siege. Now, Fergion's got Eye of Skadi. That's not good. Though he gets hit by the Ice Blast, though. And he's got the Aegis, but it doesn't really matter if the Ice Blast hits, because he got the Aegis. So he's going to be difficult to kill, Fervion. I'm not sure if Geek Fam has some countermeasures. Do they have, like, a Spirit Vessel? Wow, Earth Spirit's actually trying to build for it, and so far, to no avail. None of the heroes have any vessel at their arsenal. So it's all gonna really boil down to Raven. Like, Raven's gonna be the guy. Just pass him the ball. He's really gonna solo this team. Like, he's a one-man army. He's got his BKB, and it's still not gonna be sufficient, though. I mean, the magic resistance is gonna be good, but obviously you need more than just that. I mean, damage plus 48 is good. God strength is going to increase that, and as long as you keep yourself safe, you're good. I mean, Raven is still unkillable in this game. Like 4-0, pretty good. But your opposition is likewise the same. Mikoto only died once, and then Morphling only died 0. So yeah, I mean, you wanna constantly try to rack up in terms of net worth by getting kills, and that's the reason why you know, Boom ID, they're able to, like, go for this momentum swing, because 2 of their cores are just very consistent, you know, in getting kills and hunting for opposition. Alright, let's see what KSQ's got. Okay, I thought he was gonna go for, like, special items now that he's got bragging rights for what he's done. But Joe Camp's got Blink and Egg Force Staff. So he's got more options for initiation for his Echo Slam. Gets worse if he has an Aghanim Scepter at his arsenal. FBZ, oh god, he's got 2 of this. So Raven and Mushi are just nerfed, because there's Crimson, there's Pipe. So your Geek Fam, god, what other option do you have? You want to amplify your magic and physical damage, but you've got a Drum of Endurance, and then you got Pipe, and then you got Crimson. Okay, a tricky spot for the side of the Geeks. Okay, let's see if this is going to be the final play. Geek Fam, they need to do something here. Okay, Dragon Slave pressure, that's 1. Okay, Boulder Smash pressure, that's 2. Raven thinking about it. Okay, just going for the last hits instead of going for the stun onto Fervion. All right. Here you go, though. Mikoto jumping further forward. Here's the rolling boulder there. Oh, look at that. Mushi getting wrecked apart. And everyone else from Boom ID dodging through that ice blast. Oh, look at that. When you have Mikoto constantly online. He's online. Call me maybe. Maybe not. You can see there. Ferbian tries to go for the assault as he turns himself invisible. Tries to wave away to safety. The magnetize slows things down. Vacuum onto the wall. Laguna Blade, however, gets denied. But then in return, Raven is already online, wreaking a lot of damage though, forcing the buybacks coming on the side of Geek Fam. And now look at this. Raven Mushi just forcing his way. Raven just moving back and forth though. Light strike away onto Ferbian. Oh no, another Lincoln block. One of the Lagunas, one of the Stormhammer. Ferbian is unkillable in this game. You cannot be stopped. He cannot be stopped. I mean, my God, that Lincoln's pickup was so crucial indeed as Mikoto goes for that to make sure. Okay, back him onto the wall. That misses. There you go. Poured down. Oh, look at that. Ancient Apparition once again goes down as Raven is overextending though. Remember, he doesn't have damage with the static link, but there's no static link. Oh, nice Fuel Scepter dodge there by Mikoto. Pops out the BKB as Raven. Can he run away? He's got the War Cry. Oh, Ferbian just attacking the Vanguard with ease, but all eyes are on Raven because he's the main target. He's the main target for Geek Fam. If he goes down, well, God have mercy on Geek Fam. And Raven goes for the long road to Ernest Hemingway's path, as you can see. Oh, and look at that, Mushi. Yeah, go back. You can't deal with the Lincolns. It's totally bonkers in this game. I don't know how Geek Fam, they nearly called him Geek ID, could deal with this. And Boom ID were just really on point from the start. Just making like the mid lane matchup was a nightmare for Mushi. He was totally shut down. Like he wasn't able to make any impact. I mean, you do rely a lot on burst damage, but so far, now that Mikoto's got his BKB and Lincoln's is on Ferbian, it's out. So 2 Laguna Blades completely nerfed in this game, courtesy of the itemizations by Boom ID as a smoke gank is set off as FBZ. F to pay your respects. However, will the respects be paid though, especially with his final pack? Back him onto the wall. In front of the ice pack. That could be a difference maker as the Laguna Blade has been unleashed as well to obliterate the 2 supports. However, the BKB by Mikoto says, well, you got an ice blast. Well, I got this link. I got the lightning in my favor. I'm the real god of thunder indeed. And he's gonna attack through the backlands. Now the buybacks have been set there on the side of Boom ID. Of course, the retreat, courtesy of the static link and the electric shocks, have forced Geek Fam to be like, okay, let's slow down the pace a bit. We lose our 2 supports. And of course the buybacks have been set as Ferbian pops out the cheese and Scamberloo. Just gonna go play a game of Whirly Tops with Ferbian, but it's gonna be a big mistake. Oh my God, Mushi jumped in and then the Echo slams there, but Joe Cap says, well, what did you do that for? Why did you do that for, boy? Oh, you did not expect that fireworks from that Echo Slam. You're gonna regret living or existing in this world. Raven has no HP now. It doesn't matter. He's surrounded. Ice Blast is there. But, you know, it doesn't really concern himself as Raven is forced to go for the buyback just to protect himself as play hard. Ferbian, I don't know what else to say. Ferbian, they're just, oh my God, Ked's cute. I don't care if you die because it's a Ferbian show. It's a Ferbian show now. Late game is the Ferbian show. Early game is the Ked's show. He's just killing everyone. He's godlike. For God's sakes, he's godlike already. And Geek Fam, okay, sure you got your Crimson and Pipe of Insight, but the thing is, Razor is just snowballing without any hesitation. Morphling the same. Morphling is like copying Earth Spirit. All right, Morphling is just like copying the Earth Spirit with ease. And so far, every time he copies the Earth Spirit, it gives a space for Boom ID to be like, yeah, we slow you down, boys. This action is going back and forth indeed. Actually, back and forth for Boom ID, but not in favor of Geek Fam. It's like Geek Fam is just completely... What else can I say? I've already mentioned all the words in the dictionary to describe their pain. And Mikoto is just got agonyms? Okay. Alright. Oh my god. This is worse. This is terrible. Like, pushing prowess is just gonna be in favor of Boom ID. Like, you may have made a great defensive stance if you're Geek Fam, but with this agonyms on Razor, well, you might as well call the construction or demolition company for your own towers, just to make sure that Razor does not get any gold in return for destroying towers. Okay, so Raven's gonna go for... Okay, he's gonna go for Satanic as his next build. He does need to survive because so far, without BKB, he's vulnerable. He's so vulnerable. Because FBZ is on point. Kodo, he's a beast in this game. And Geek Fam is just forced to defend their tier 3 tower. Can they hold it off? And they lose one of their shrines. Okay, no space for them, for Geek Fam. Yeah, they're just forced to like, okay, can this be a Hail Mary pray? Can this be a Hail Mary prayer / Hail Mary play? Okay, Rolling Boulder, stun onto FBZ, Ice Blast is popped out, Laguna Blade, everything is popped out before he could go for the Primal Split, and now he decides to buy back. But Fervian just copies the Earth Spirit. Oh, Mikado says, hello, look at this, look at my BKB onto the Static Link. Now I'm gonna chase through to the Eye of the Storm. And now Fervian says, well, Bushi, you've been completely nerfed in this game. Where will you go? There's Raven just gonna run away from Mikoto, but the action is just happening everywhere around the map, from the east to the west, from the north to the south. As fish are up to 2 there. Raven, scam, no, scam was like, oh there, look at that. Zephyr's just forced to type GG. Absolutely no answer here by Geek Fam from the start. Look at the gold lead, 25k. And Raven's just fighting back just to make sure that his stats are good on KDA. But the stat padding does not work out, as the GG calls have instantly give Boom ID this victory. That was pretty one-sided, no doubt. The mid lane matchup was a nightmare for Mushi. Raven could have pulled something on the top lane, but the bottom lane was just left unscathed. That Boom ID had like the farm space needed to like dictate the tempo in the bot lane. So coming from the mid to the late game, it just really boiled down to Geek Fam. Like, the clutch saves by Kezcute, combined it with Fervian going online and Mikoto going online. Like, really, Geek Fam has no other option else but to lose this game. So we'll be back for a quick break, and stay tuned. We'll be broadcasting the next of the closed qualifiers of the Southeast Asian Epicenter Majors 2019. So stay tuned.